Hi, welcome back. Today we are going to talk about digital photography exposure basics. Exposure is basically the amount of light that's collected by the sensor in your camera during the taking of a single photograph. If the shot is exposed too long, the photograph will be washed out. If the shot is exposed too short, the photograph will appear too dark. Today, almost all cameras have light meters that are built in. They measure the light in the given shot and set an ideal exposure automatically. Most people depend on the light meter, which is fine. However, if you know how to control your exposures, you can get some great pictures. For example, the photograph on the left is with a low shutter speed and a narrow aperture using a high f-stop. The two primary controls that your camera uses for exposure are shutter speed, the amount of time the sensor is exposed to light, and aperture, the size of the lens opening that lets light into the camera. The difference between these two is that shutter speeds are measured in seconds, and more commonly fractions of a second. Apertures are measured in something called f-stops. You may wonder why there is not just a constant shutter speed or a constant aperture so that you would only have to worry about one control. Well, the reason is that even though they both control the amount of light getting into the sensor, they also control other aspects of the picture. Shutter speed, for example, can be used to freeze subjects in midair with a fast speed, or it can be used to blur subjects with a slow speed. Aperture controls the depth of field, which is what is in focus in the picture. Aperture can be used to draw attention to one subject by blurring the background with a wide aperture. It can also be used to focus everything in a picture with a narrow aperture. On most digital cameras today, you can even change the sensitivity of the sensor when collecting light, which is called the ISO speed. The common span of the ISO speed is basically between 100 to 800. The higher the ISO speed, the faster the camera collects light, but it also adds more noise to the photograph than lower speeds. If you want to try to take your pictures in dim light without a tripod, you might want to raise the ISO speed in order to get a picture that's not blurry. Most of the time you should keep it at a lower ISO speed if there's enough light, but it does make a big difference when there isn't. Creating beautiful memories is what life is all about. Watching a sunset with a loved one, partying on New Year's Eve with your friends, getting married and then going on your honeymoon, and then pretty soon kids are on the way. For each of these special moments, you don't want to miss a single one. I want you to get excited about your digital camera. I want you to feel confident getting behind the digital lens, telling your family and friends to say cheese and smile. Visit learndigitalphotographynow.com by clicking on the link.